Let's begin with an introduction to HTML with CSS. In this video, we will explore how to connect HTML, which provides the structure of a web page, with CSS, which is used for styling. This combination allows us to create visually appealing and well-organized websites. We will be discussing HTML and CSS, how these two are related and how we can use them together. HTML plus CSS. So what exactly is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It's a language that describes how HTML elements should be displayed. Think of HTML as the skeleton of a web page and CSS as the clothing and makeup that makes it presentable. CSS controls things like the layout of your page, the colors, the fonts, and the spacing between elements. Importantly, it separates the content, which is the HTML, from the presentation, which is the CSS. This separation makes your code easier to manage and update. CSS also enables responsive design, allowing your website to look good on different devices, whether it's a desktop computer, a tablet, or a smartphone. There are three primary ways to connect CSS with HTML. Let's explore each of these methods. First, we have Inline CSS, where you apply styles directly to HTML elements using the style attribute. This method is quick for small, specific changes, but isn't ideal for larger projects due to maintainability issues. The code shows an example of heading 1 tag with the style attribute. Second is Internal CSS. Here you define styles within the head section of your HTML document using style tags. This approach is useful for single-page websites, but isn't suitable for websites with multiple pages. The code shows how to add CSS inside the head tag using the style tag. The last method is External CSS. In this approach, you link an external CSS file to your HTML document using the link tag. This is the best practice for most websites as it separates content from styling, making your code more organized and easier to maintain. The code shows how to link the external CSS file inside the head tag. It also shows how to add CSS inside an external CSS file. Let's dive deeper into Inline CSS. Inline CSS involves applying styles directly to individual HTML elements using the style attribute. This approach has the highest specificity, meaning it overrides other styles. It's quick for testing or making small, specific changes. However, it mixes content with presentation, making it hard to maintain for larger projects. Additionally, styles defined inline can't be reused across elements, leading to redundant code. The code provides an example of inline CSS, demonstrating how to style headings, paragraphs, and buttons directly within the HTML tags using the style attribute. Now let's explore Internal CSS. With Internal CSS, you define styles within the head section of an HTML document using style tags. These styles apply to the entire page. This method eliminates the need for external files, making it convenient for single-page websites. However, the styles defined internally can't be reused across multiple pages. The code provides an example of Internal CSS, showing how to define styles for heading 1 and paragraph elements within the style tags in the head section of the HTML document. Let's discuss External CSS. External CSS involves linking a separate CSS file to your HTML document using the link tag. This approach separates content from presentation, making your code more organized and easier to maintain. It allows you to reuse styles across multiple pages, promoting consistency throughout your website. Additionally, external CSS files can be cached by the browser, resulting in faster page loading times. Using external CSS is considered an industry best practice for web development. The code provides an example of external CSS, showing how to link a CSS file named styles.css to an HTML document using the link tag. It also demonstrates how to define styles for heading 1 elements within the styles.css file. CSS selectors are patterns used to select the HTML elements you want to style. There are several types of CSS selectors, Let's look at some common ones. First, the element selector, which selects all HTML elements with the same element name. For example, the code block shows how to select all heading 1 elements and set their color to blue. Second, the class selector, which selects HTML elements with a specific class attribute. For example, the code block shows how to select all elements with the class highlight and set their background color to yellow. Third, the ID selector, which selects the HTML element with a specific ID attribute. For example, the code block shows how to select the element with the ID header and set its font size to 32 pixels. Next is descendant selector, which selects all elements that are descendants of a specified element. For example, the code block shows how to select all anchor tags that are inside the NAV tag and set their text decoration to none. Next we have pseudoclass selector, which selects elements based on a certain state, such as when a mouse hovers over it. For example, the code block shows how to select all anchor tags when they are hovered and sets their color to red. Lastly, attribute selector, which selects elements with a specified attribute. For example, the code block shows how to select all input tags with the attribute type equal to text and sets their border to 1 pixel solid. Now let's explore some common CSS properties that you'll frequently use when styling your web pages. These properties allow you to control various aspects of the appearance and layout of HTML elements. First, text styling contains the properties like color, font family, font size, font weight, text align and line height. Second, box model contains properties like margin, padding, border, width, height and border radius. Third, layout and display, which contains properties like display, position, flex, and grid. These are some common CSS properties you'll encounter while styling HTML elements. The code provides an example demonstrating how to use some of these properties to style a container element. Let's put it all together with a complete example demonstrating HTML structure with external CSS styling. First, create the HTML structure, then create a separate CSS file, link the CSS file to the HTML document, and use classes for styling. This way you can keep content separate from presentation, making your code more maintainable and organized. The code shows how to link an external CSS file in HTML. It also contains the basic structure of HTML tags like div, header, h1, nav, and the. To summarize, we've covered the basics of connecting HTML with CSS, including the 3 methods: inline, internal, and external CSS. We've also explored CSS selectors for targeting specific elements and common CSS properties for styling. Remember to use external CSS for larger projects, organize your CSS with meaningful class names, keep your HTML structure semantic, and use comments to document your code. As next steps, you may want to explore the CSS box model, flexbox layout, CSS grid, and responsive design. These topics will further enhance your ability to create visually appealing and responsive websites. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.